lemony flavor and lemony scent that is a lot like a citronella candle. And when it is in its dry form, so I have a bunch here from a garden, from my previous gardens. I grow a ton of it. Like I said, each plant can get really, really big every year. And I make a lot of medicine with it that I give to other people, and I make a lot of tea with it, and I have lemon balm in my diet almost every day in my in the morning. I love it. So when it's, I see I have a hand. When you smell it and it's dry, it reminds me of like a lemon tea, like a lemon iced tea. It's super awesome. I wish that this could be like a smellogram and I could let you all smell it. Liv, I'm gonna unmute you so you can ask your question.
Can you use it for like bug repellent then, if it like smells like that? Can you like just put it on like your porch and use it like that?
That is a great question. Super great question. So some people, myself included, when I'm working in my garden and the mosquitoes start to get really crazy, because they're always really bad where I am, I will pull off a couple of leaves and I'll rub them into my, like on my wrists and in my elbows and behind my knees and in my neck, because those are like really, those are good, those are places where your blood is, where your pulse, you can read your pulse a lot easier. It's places where like blood is pumping like really close to the surface, so it actually helps the oils to kind of radiate out. I do that sometimes as an insect repellent for myself. You can also take the dried stuff or an essential oil of lemon balm and mix it in to make your own insect repellent with usually people use witch hazel as the base, witch hazel and water, and things like lemon balm and eucalyptus and lavender, and also just like a citronella, other things that have this lemony scent. It is a good insect repellent, and it's also a really great beneficial insect attractor. So not thinking about mosquitoes and those kind of annoying bugs, lemon balm and other plants in the mint family are really, really great for attracting the types of insects that we want to have in our garden, that pollinate all of our food crops, and that that we really like to have around. Lots of different kinds of native bees and native pollinators, flies, different types of flies and butterflies and moths and things like that. Erin, I think maybe you had a question. Is that true? I'm going to unmute you.
Yeah, but it was like the same question as Liz.
I saw the smile on your face, yeah. So it was just about the insect repellent?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you're thinking like that. Those are really great. That's really good indication that you're like, okay, I know what citronella is. What does citronella do? Maybe this plant does that too. And it's important to think that way when we're learning about new plants. You can learn about patterns that way, right? Like patterns in scent, patterns in families. I'm talking about the mint family a lot because there are a lot of patterns that are the same across various plants in the mint family. I see another couple of questions. All right, you're unmuted. Oh, I'm trying. There you go.
Hey, I have there's a bunch of mint infesting my garden.
Infesting
I got some. It's everywhere.
Is that a smell like a mint, or is that a lemon balm that you have in your hand?
It's a mint.
Yeah. So sometimes you use the word infesting. So it's important to know that certain types of mints like to really take over. In my opinion, the way that I garden, I like to have plants that take over. I plan my garden in such a way that I want to have certain plants taking over lots of space. And if you feel like something is infesting your garden, if something is taking over more space than you want, just harvest it. it's just like weeding, right? But wouldn't you rather weed something that you can use as tea or that you can give to your friends as medicine rather than like something that you just have to toss away? That's why I like it. I think it's cool like that. Leah, you have a question, I think.
So you were saying that like if you plant it, well, you were saying this in the beginning, you said that if you plant it, you don't have to keep replanting it like over and over again, like every year it'll just come back up. Is it like really hard to kill like it is like with marigolds, I think, the flowers?
So in my experience, with lemon balm specifically, it's a mint that it has like a mounding pattern or like a clumping way of growing. So the whole plant comes back year after year and it will keep like growing out this way and getting bigger in this like bushy kind of way. But other kinds of mint or other types of plants that are hard to get rid of they branch out under they're called rhizomatic, or rhizomorphic. So rhizo means root. They grow underground and they spread out all over the place, and they'll pop up out of the ground in places that you didn't expect them to, because everywhere that the root has moved to, it has the ability to shoot up a new plant above ground. So some mints, probably like the mints that are infesting your garden, are similar to the kinds of, those are the kinds of plants that are hard to get rid of because you don't know where they're going to pop up next, and it's really hard to get to know where all of those roots are under the ground. Lemon balm isn't really like that. Lemon balm, if you wanted to get rid of it or if you wanted to move it from one place to another, you just put your shovel down in the dirt and you dig up its whole root mass. You just give like a big wide area around it, and then you can pull it out or you can move it elsewhere. Do we have other questions? Doesn't look like. So I want to talk a little bit about the uses for Melissa, for lemon balm. I made this cool little zine a few years ago I wrote up about all of my favorite plants, and I wanted to share a little bit with you that I wrote about lemon balm. So it's good to harvest it at any point in the season when there is enough green growth to allow the rest of the plant to keep photosynthesizing, to keep making food for itself, preferably before it flowers. So when it's flowering, there's more energy going into the flowers and it's setting seed than there is energy going into the essential oils and the aroma, the aromatics, and the medicinal parts of the leaves, and the leaves that are what have the most medicine. So preferably before it flowers is when you want to harvest it, but you can harvest it really at any time. You want to make sure you don't harvest the whole plant. You only harvest the stuff that's above ground, and you leave at least 1/3 of the plant behind to keep itself alive. It will keep itself alive for years, and a way that you can get it to keep growing healthily is by pinching off the top parts. So where the flowers pop out, you can pinch those off and use those for your medicine or for your tea, and the rest of it will keep growing and branching out bigger and healthier over time. So it's easy to grow in all soil types. Like I said, it's a really good beginning plant for a beginning gardener. It likes all soil types. It doesn't really mind partial shade, but it prefers full sun. It might confuse some pest insects. So this goes back to us talking about it as a mosquito repellent. Because it smells so strong, it could confuse insects in a garden that are looking for, maybe some bug is looking for a tomato plant, but it can't find the tomato plant because all it smells is lemon balm. And that's pretty cool. So if you have it in various places in your garden, it could actually protect your veggies or your fruits from pest insects. This is a plant that is really good for people who are stressed out, for people who are feeling anxious or sad, It's a good plant that's antibacterial, so it's good for protecting us from microbes and some illnesses that we might get. It is good at lowering our blood sugar, so if we know people who have diabetes or things like that, it helps to relax us. It's really good for small children and for babies. In medicinal form, it's very calming, it's very gentle, and anybody can use it. It is good at helping to reduce fevers in people who are sick. It's good for our cardiovascular system. It's good for our heart and for our blood system. And it's really good at helping to balance our nervous system. So keeping, when we feel stressed out, it's good at helping us to relax, like I said earlier. It's also just really good at healing, you know, when we're feeling sad, at uplifting our hearts. And it's something that I think is really important for everybody to have in their gardens and in their medicine cabinets and in their tea cabinets. So I know we had some other questions. Yeah, Taryn?
It's Adair.
Adair.
What's your question?
I have a question. Why do some plants like to infest?
Infest? So yeah, so the word that was used, that word infest, is when, so sometimes the word that I use is a plant that is opportunistic, a plant maybe that volunteers itself in your garden, is something that takes up a lot of space. So there are certain types of plants, especially if they really, really like the soil that they're in, they really like the type of soil that they're growing in, sometimes they will take up more space because they're like, wow, this is the perfect home for me. And they just want to seek out and use up more of that home, right? Whereas sometimes other types of plants, maybe they don't think, it's not as natural, it's not as normal for them, or their roots aren't as strong. So another reason why a plant might infest is because we have these two different types of plants. We have annual plants and we have perennial plants. So annual plants are plants that we have to plant seeds for every single season. So a tomato plant or a lettuce plant or a basil plant, these are things that we have to put seeds in the ground for every year. And they only have a couple of months to grow. But this plant, this lemon balm plant that I'm talking about today, is a plant that gets to live in the ground for years and years and years. So its roots take over a lot more space and have a lot more time to make home in the soil where they live. So they might be considered, you know, to be infesting just because they've been there a lot longer. They've lived there a lot longer. Does that make sense? Cool. I'm gonna check our other people here. I think, Liv, did you have your hand up again? Sorry.
You answered the question.
Okay, cool. Trying to think. Oh, I wanted to tell you all something exciting that I found out today when I was looking at lemon balm stuff. So most of the time people will drink lemon balm in tea form. So they'll boil water and they'll put a little bit of the dried plant or the fresh plant into water and they'll just drink it as tea. Some people got really creative and they made lemon balm cookies. So I was thinking that maybe anybody out there who has lemon balm in their garden might want to try that recipe. I'm going to put it on Facebook in as a link after I put this video up, and I can probably put it in the chat right now too. So they're just basically, lemon balm cookies are basically just sugar cookies, but you put lemon zest and lemon juice and lemon balm into the cookies. And I think that sounds really exciting. I want to do that. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat box here so you guys can all open it up. And if anybody has lemon balm and they decide they want to make lemon balm cookies, I really want to hear about how it turns out. That you can use lemon balm as a flavoring, just like you would use mint or oregano or thyme or something as a flavoring. And let's see, are there other questions that people have? Remember, you can use the chat box if you want. I see a hand. It says Sarah. I don't know what your name is, but you can ask your question.
My name is Jaden, and I think lemon balm cookies sound good too. And at the beginning of the video, you were talking about the lemon balm had the square stem. Are all mints like that, or is that just lemon balm?
That's a great question. All mints are like that. So the mint family, I don't know if you heard at the beginning. So lemon balm is part of the mint family. The mint family is also in Latin is referred to as Lamiaceae. And the Lamiaceae family has over 7,000 family members. It's a really, really big family. And one of the characteristics of the mint family is that they have these square stems. So back to this little zine that I made a few years ago. I have in here a love letter to the mint family that I wrote, and I can tell you a little bit more about the things in the mint family so that you can meet other mints. So they have square stems. Many of them have purpley leaves. So I think I don't know if you were in my class when we were talking about nettles. Nettles are not in the mint family, but they also sometimes have purple leaves. There's a chemical in mint family leaves, that the purple leaves, that's called Anthocyanins, and this purpley chemical is really, really good for our bodies at helping to heal our cells. They're called antioxidants. So sometimes you'll find purpley hues in lemon balm and in other mints. They also, mint family plants are really good at spreading from their roots. That's why they take over, like I've been talking about. That word Lamiaceae actually means mouth. So it's because their flowers are they're quite small and they look like little open mouths. Basil is also in the mint family, various forms of basil. So they have these little, like, sometimes they're in like round, the flowers are like spiraling around the stems in like what are called spikelets, so little spikies. They attract lots of beneficial insects and pollinators, and many mint family plants are very medicinal. So they smell really, really great, and those same smells are the things that make them medicinal and really good for our bodies and for cooking purposes. So sage and thyme and rosemary are all also in that, and oregano are also in the mint family. Do you have other questions? How we doing out there, people?
In the chat.
Oh, if you bake with lemon balm, will it still have the medicinal benefits? I believe that it will. I believe that, so when you're baking, those aromatics are going to be released the way that the aromatics will be released in hot water. So it would be a similar effect. So they'd probably be calming. I don't know if you make lemon balm cookies with all that sugar, if it would actually calm you down or not, because sugar will make us go crazy. But it might help. It might be good. I don't know if it would be more medicine in cookie form, or if it would just be fun. But it definitely wouldn't be hurtful. And I think it would be really nice to hear if anybody decides to bake sugar cookies with lemon balm. Yeah, what's your question?
I got a question. But I wanted to say I put it in the chat yesterday. I made tea bags out of the chickweed and some. And I made
chickweed tea.
That's awesome. Did it taste good? What did it taste like?
It tastes actually tastes kind of minty because I also put mint in it.
Oh, you put mint in it also?
Yeah.
Cool. That's great. I'm glad that you're using what you're learning. That's really great. Oh, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Maybe come outside.
Yeah, if you just get close, you can say it again.
A slice of lemon in it in echinacea tea.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that sounds really good for your immune system. I'm happy to hear that. Erin, did you have a question?
No, I didn't have a question.
Okay. I think we might be coming towards the end of our time together. How's everybody doing out there? I'm going to make a little grid form so I can see all your faces. We all good out there? Do we have any more questions? No? Cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed our lemon balm lesson today. And I have a couple more plants that I would like to talk about on our list from the other day. I mean, I could talk about a gazillion plants that I love, so it's no problem. But if you all have things that you would like to learn about that aren't on our list yet, yeah, Leah, do you have a plant?
I'm not sure if I said this the other day when you were taking suggestions, but poison ivy.
Yeah, I think we should do that one tomorrow. It's definitely on my list, and I have a place in the woods I can probably take some pictures of it. So I think you're right. I think it's a good idea to do that one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, Jaden, right?
Yeah, we like ground ivy. I was wondering if we could learn about that because we have like books about stuff and ground ivy's in it.
Ground ivy. Yeah. So is that the one I a lot of times call that one creeping Charlie? Have you heard that?
Yeah, it has purple leaves sometimes, and it also has purple and pink flowers.
Yeah, we can talk about that one. We'll do that one in a few days. I'll write it down.
Thank you.
Yeah. What do you have a plant that you want to hear about?
Oh, Derek.
Yeah, I want to hear about maybe oak.
Yes.
Poison oak.
Oh, poison oak. All right. Yeah, we can do some poison stuff. Yeah, it's important to know those things. For sure.
Do you want to do one? No. I could say thank
Pacific mushroom.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have another one?
The Pacific mushroom.
Pacific mushroom?
or specific mushroom.
Oh, a specific mushroom? Yeah, so we did turkey tail yesterday. We'll definitely do some more specific mushrooms over the next few days.
Cool, we missed turkey tail.
That's okay. It's in video form. It's on my Facebook wall if that's how you found me.
Yeah, do you want to find that? Yeah, we'll look at that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Cool. I think I'm going to call it for the day, folks. It was really good to see all your faces, some new faces, and I hope you join us at 2 o'clock tomorrow and every other day while we're going through this homeschool time period. It's really, really, really nice for me to see all your faces and to get some good questions and tell you about my favorite things. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow.